area moves in so many ways. The Pacific pulls us in to roam its hidden alleyways, shift our perspectives, breathe history, taste local flavors, and savor every moment. Let yourself be moved.
Our jam starts with Smack, Overflow, and Big D Barb as our jammers. Smack, Overflow for the standbys at the front of the pack. Push to the inside and run back. Leaves some room for Big D Barb, now in superior position. Smack, Overflow finds the inside open and takes it. Big D Barb with helmet cover in hand makes it through for an initial pass. Smack, Overflow jumps the apex, calls the jam. The Eves of Destruction wish to thank all of the outstanding sponsors that fund the gameplay you enjoy. As we tell you more about them today, consider if you too would like to help keep us rolling through 2026.
For this jam, we have Creature up against Sonic Boom. Both jammers struggling to get through the pack. Creature up near the front, Sonic Boom near the back. Sonic Boom with outside, wraps around, comes in behind. No pack. And Creature is your lead jammer. No packs called. Creature was held up, and one of the GVRD players is called for out of play. That is Willow Whips.
Star pass at the end of that play. Star was passed to number 6-6, name redacted. 4 points in that jam for Creature. First points on the board. We're looking at a score of Cascades 0, standbys 4. At the front with lead, it's L on Wheels.
Deviated Septum up at the front of the pack, stuck. Meanwhile, L's working the back of the pack, stopped by a couple of GVRDA blockers. L makes it through for her first scoring pass.
Deviated Septum with a penalty heads to the penalty box. Power jam in favor of the standbys. They still have lead. Willow Whips and the Traumador stuck at the back of the pack. L on Wheels gets through at turn 3. 4 points go home with the standbys.
And Wheels calls it off as they make another scoring pass.
That well-timed call freezes number 986, Deviated Septum, in the penalty box. Cascades will start with a disadvantage. The standbys will have a moment of power jam advantage. They're going to send out Misery Lizness. Misery Lizness was the MVP jammer in the standbys first game this weekend.
Liz makes it all the way to the front of the pack, through the blockers, gets lead jammer.
Deviated Septum out of the penalty box, helmet cover in hand, re-engaged with the pack, passes the helmet cover on to name redacted.
Liz makes a scoring pass and calls it off.
Parkway Physio. Reduce pain, improve mobility, and get back to what you love with Parkway Physio.
For jam number 4, we have Stalker up against Birdie. Birdie breaks, almost trying to break through at the front of the pack, and does. Birdie is your lead jammer for the standbys.
That's 5 in a row for the standbys, dominating the leads in this game.
Birdie swings around the outside of the pack. It's caught up to the inside, it's knocked out, calls it off.
4 points signaled at the end of that jam. End of jam 5, we are a score of Cascades 0, standbys 28. The Zone at 91.3 are proud sponsors of the Eves of Destruction.
Big D Barb for GVRDA up against the standbys, Smack Overflow. And it looks like Barb is your lead jammer. Meanwhile, there's a star pass for Denver. Bronny Darko takes on the jammer, but the jam gets called off.
With that, the Cascades are on the board with 3 points.
Once again, we have Creature up against Sonic Boom.
That official timeout whistle surprised a bunch of our skaters on the track. Our officials have some things to sort out for a moment.
Once again, it's Sonic Boom out for lead jammer. Up. Creature gets denied. Recycled to the back of the pack. Sonic Boom coming in for their first scoring pass. Creature still held up up front. Creature is now through. And Sonic Boom up the inside. Scores 4 points and calls it off.
Get amongst the games this Saturday at 2 p.m. Hey, that's today at 2 p.m. at the Roll a Skater Bocce game. Grab your ticket to partake at the Hardcores craft table or stick around to watch the fun for free.
Jamming for the standbys, it's L on wheels. For Greater Vancouver Roller Derby, we have Deviated Septum. And L is through and is your lead jammer.
That's a star pass from Deviated Septum to that dumb B. Sorry, the jammer at the end of that was number 6-6. Stalker and Misery Lizness start this jam. Stalker tries to make a run for the inside, slowed down a bit by number 8, but Stalker is through with lead. Jammers are close. Misery Lizness about a quarter track away. Stalker flips the hips while tapping them. That puts 2 points on the board for standbys. Those 2 points were for the Cascades. I'm looking at my scoreboard and confusing myself. Our current score is Cascades 9, standbys 32.
Once again, Big D Barb for Greater Vancouver up against the standbys Yeety Bird. And Birdie is through for the lead jammer. Big D Barb gets called for cutting the track, and it's a power jam for the standbys. Birdie's through once again. It's a long pack, slowly gathering together. Birdie's working his way to the front of the Greater Vancouver wall and is through and calls off the jam before Barb is able to leave the penalty box.
In a world filled with mass-produced stuff, connect with what you consume with Driftwood Brewery. Visit their bar and patio nearby on Viewfield Road or here in our beverage garden tonight. Smack overflow skates along the inside line but gets hit out of bounds. Recycled. Big D Barb now in superior position. Offensive help comes in from number 7-9. Outside line is open. Smack overflow is lead. Big D Barb, helmet cover in hand, 1 to beat at the front of the pack. Recycled back, both jammers in the pack. Big D Barb working on an initial pass, decides to pass that off to Easy Break Oven, now jamming for Cascades. Four points on the board at the end of that jam for the standbys. Our score right now, Cascades 9, standbys 44.
Looks like we have the classic matchup again of Creature versus Sonic Boom. Sonic Boom on the outside. Creature gets knocked down on the inside. It's recycled to the back of the pack. No pack's called, and Sonic Boom is through. Sonic's now your lead jammer. Creature gets knocked out to the outside of the pack. Cycles in the back as Sonic's through. Easy peasy for a scoring pass, 4 points. Pack is unprepared for Boom as she comes through again. Sonic scores another 4 points and calls off the jam.
That's our highest scoring jam for Cascades in this first half. Both teams with low scores on the board in their individual passes. That brings our score to 17 Cascades, standbys 44.
Have L on Wheels versus Greater Vancouver's Deviated Septum. L's up on the front, working the pack on the inside. Septum's up back at the pack. Both defense really working hard to keep the jammers at bay. Nobody is making their initial pass. And Easy Break Oven is through. She got the start pass. Easy Break Oven is now the jammer for Greater Vancouver.
Our amazing crew of dedicated officials is one of the Eves of Destruction's biggest assets. From non-skating officials to on-skates officials, they make it possible for us all to enjoy this sport we love so much. Speak to any official or EOD member to find out how you too could be part of this crew.
Jamming for the standbys is Misery Lizness up against Greater Vancouver's Stalker. Liz is through for your lead jammer. Stalker closing in behind. Liz blasts through the pack and gets 4 points? 3. 3 points for Liz. Birdie up again against Big D Barb.
Some offensive movement from Denver at the very beginning of that jam. That helps. Yeety Bird is out of the pack first. Lead goes to the standbys. Big D Barb hit to the outside. Birdie back in the pack. Front position, moving up on the pivot line. Pivot to beat. Makes it past Green Envy. 4 points, standbys. Star pass to Easy Break. Now your jammer for Cascades. Birdie through the pack at the front with the hands on the hips. Adding another 4 to standbys. Current score, Cascades 17, standbys 55. As a team timeout for Cascades.
And we have Smack Overflow skating for the standbys, and jamming for Greater Vancouver is Sonic Boom. Sonic Boom coming up quickly to the pack. Smack Overflow held up at the front. Sonic's through for your lead jammer. Smack not far behind. Sonic up through the back and calls it off. No points? No points.
A big EOD thank you to our tireless photographers, Green Bean and Paige DeWolf of Creative Miscellany. We all look forward to revisiting tonight's greatest hits through your work.
Creature jamming for the standbys up against Deviated Septum. Both jammers mired in the pack. Strong opposition from the front. Creature's through, but gets called for cutting the track.
Deviated Septum with helmet cover in hand, hit to the outside. They remove the helmet cover, so lead is no longer available. This jam will go the full 2 minutes. Helmet cover has been passed to Easy Break. Packs get in formation. Easy looking for some offensive help at the front of the pack as Creature returns at the back. That's 404 Identity Crisis with the hold at the back. They're assisted by Traumador. Easy Break through the front of the pack with 4 points. Offensive help comes for Creature by Captain. Easy Break with a leap over the apex at turn 3. Creature on a scoring pass. Creature through on the inside line at turn 3. Easy Break in the same area, puts a toe on the inside, gets a cut track penalty. Power jam in favor of Creature. Pack is moving back from turn 3 into the straightaway. Checking our numbers at the end of that, looks like that jam came out with 7 points to standbys and 10 to Cascades.
Such a heartbreaking cut. And we have an official timeout.
Standby's enjoying a power start to this jam. They send out L on Wheels, number 847 as their jammer. L gets through the pack as they pass turn 2. Lead goes to Standby's. L on Wheels already back through, in contact at the front, through with a scoring pass. Easy Break out of the penalty box, helmet cover in hand. L on Wheels back for another scoring pass. Easy Break makes the pass. That's gone to Name Redacted. Initial was completed by Name Redacted. L on Wheels calls the jam before any points are in play for the other team.
Jamming for Greater Vancouver is Roller Square, who jumps right out and takes lead. Meanwhile, Liz, for the standbys, just does her first initial pass. Roller Square breaks out for 4 points and calls off the jam.
Empire Donuts, a whole lot of love. All donuts are made by hand from scratch with quality ingredients.
And it's Yeedy Bird versus Stalker. Yeedy Bird up the outside of the track, through in his lead jammer. Meanwhile, Stalker stuck in the pack. Passes the star to Redacted, but Redacted gets Redacted to the penalty box. Redacted still in possession of the star, so technically, as the star is now on, she is now the jammer.
This is a power jam for the standbys. Yeedy Bird, our only jammer on the track. Some passive offense from the standbys. Gets a bit more aggressive. That's number 412 coming in with some good hits. Creeper of Skate. So we've had some movement with the star here. Turns out that number 66 was not the established jammer, but did have that helmet cover in hand. Stalker got a penalty about the same time that 66 returned to the track. So 66 gave the helmet cover to Stalker. Stalker is now sitting as the jammer. This ends up being a bit more than a minute of power jam for Yeedy Bird and the standbys. Yeedy Bird in control of this jam almost the entire 2 minutes so far. Comes in with some defensive hit against Stalker. Stalker out of the penalty box. This time Stalker makes that helmet cover pass, but there's no time left on the clock. An interesting jam comes to an end. Standbys have picked up all the points in that jam, 13 of them.
So correct me if I'm wrong. Redacted went to the penalty box before they were able to put on the star, therefore did not technically become the jammer.
Redacted received a penalty before receiving the star.
Before receiving the star. Okay.
So Redacted was not eligible to be the jammer.
Even though she sat with the star in the penalty box, Stalker was still the jammer, but didn't have the star, so couldn't score points.
You got that right, Dutch. This jam, we've got Sonic Boom and Smack Overflow. Smack Overflow in superior position at the moment for the standbys. Sonic Boom held tight behind standby's captain. That is Overflow with lead for the standbys. Sonic Boom quickly passes that on to Easy Break. Sonic Boom We have a similar situation here. It looks like a penalty was issued as the helmet cover was passed. The star is not in play for Cascades. Easy can hold it as the pivot, but Easy cannot be the jammer. Defensive play from 91 coming out of the penalty box. Hit Smack overflow out of bounds. Smack calls it off.
And we have Creature up against Sonic Boom again. It's the classic lineup for this match. No packs called, and Creature gets through, becomes your lead jammer. Sonic Boom stuck at the back of the pack, gets knocked out, recycled to the back. Creature is through for a scoring pass.
Our penalty box is pretty full. Right now we've only got one blocker, Willow Whips, for Cascades. They're joined by Green Envy. One jammer on the track, so power jam in favor of the standbys. Whips and Envy are joined, so we now have a tripod of blockers for Cascades. Both teams even at the moment. Kilbo Baggins at the front of that. Tripod is solid at turn one. Creature still has lead, calls the jam. We have had both an official review and a timeout called. We will defer to our head ref to tell us what the official review is about. All right, it looks like the official review was used as a team timeout from Cascades. We have no update from our officials. So on we go to jam number 23. This time we have L on Wheels and Sonic Boom as our jammers. Sonic Boom starting in the penalty box. L on Wheels finds space on the outside, through as lead. We have a helmet cover pass from Sonic Boom to easy break for the Cascades. L on Wheels through with 4 points. Little bit of timing. L on Wheels trying to pass it through those Cascades blockers before easy break can make it to the standbys. Worked on L on Wheels' favor, 4-point standbys. Hazel's Ice Cream, a family dream of ice cream. Local, handmade ice cream bars.
We have Liz for the standbys up against Barb for Greater Vancouver. And Barb is through. But it is Liz who's the lead jammer.
Both packs racing, trying to get in superior position, so their jammer has an advantage over the other. That's keeping the pack moving.
Neither jammer can catch the pack with their scoring pass. This is the fastest pack I have seen.
Barb getting a little too close to the back of that pack for Liz's comfort. That ends our first half. We'll see you back here in about 10 minutes. Please visit our vendors. Keep yourself hydrated. It's a long weekend, folks.
Welcome back. Starting the second half at 107 for the standbys and 31 for Greater Vancouver Roller Derby Association. We have Creature jamming for the standbys, and already your lead jammer. And Big D Barb for Greater Vancouver, who passes the star to Redacted. Redacted now taking on the role as jammer for Greater Vancouver, and the jam is called. There's a 4-0 jam for the standbys.
It's an official timeout that'll slow us down for a moment. We had a star pass in that last jam. I just thought I'd talk a bit about how star passes have gone in this game. Our star passes are sponsored by Driftwood Brewery, Hotel Zed, Empire Donuts, Influence Board Shop, and Cloverdale Paint. More for me about those star passes coming up. First, we're going to get into this second jam with Yeety Bird and Sonic Boom jamming. Boom in a superior position at the moment. Yeety Bird at the back of the pack. Both jammers pushing slow and steady. Pack is full with an empty penalty box. Pack moves past the pivot line. Outside line is open. That's Yeety Bird with a lead for the standbys. Sonic boom through the pack. Initial pass completed. Helmet cover in hand. Offensive help coming in from 4-1-2. From the ground, Birdie calls the jam.
Looks like we got 3 wiggly points for the standbys.
All right, I was going to talk a little bit about those star passes. So in our first half, star passes were used by the Cascades 8 times. We've had a little bit of a hiccup on the timing of those star passes, so it'll be interesting to see how they move through the second half. Smack overflow for the standbys, but lead goes to deviated septum. Trading leads already this second half. Septum into the pack, calls the jam off before Smack overflow can get back. Points in favor of Cascades.
Once again for the standbys, we have Creature on the jammer line up against Stalker for Greater Vancouver. Both jammers fire up the line side by side. Creature on the outside, Stalker on the inside. Creature makes her way to the front to the Greater Vancouver wall. Both jammers firmly planted behind the opposition's walls. But Stalker is through, and is your lead, Creature right on their tail. Stalker leads the jammers back into the pack. It's a long pack.
Three points, Cascades. Thank you to Roller Girl for sponsoring the Capital City Chaos Tournament MVP prize. You can vote for the tournament MVP using the QR codes posted throughout the arena.
And it's Birdie versus Barb on the jammer line. Both jammers just take it slow, working their way methodically. Birdie up at the front, Barb at the back. Pack is getting longer and longer. No pack is called, and Birdie is through.
Star pass for Cascades to Bo.
Smart move by Birdie there. Saw that they had cut the track, and before they cut the penalty, they called off the jam.
Drop in to Influence Board Shop for Victoria's best selection of skateboards and gear. And guess what? Influence Board Shop is here today. You can replace your knee pads, your helmet, wheels, even get some cool new shoes. L on Wheels through with lead for the standbys. Sonic Boom at the back of the pack at the moment, recycled. L on a scoring pass, held by two-person blocking Tromador and Malice. Sonic Boom at the back of the pack. Pack is spread out from turn 4 to turn 1. L through with points at turn 1. Helmet cover pass attempted by 1-2 to Easy Break. This time, communication was nice and clear. They were able to understand they were not the jammer. They took the penalty as the jammer. This is a power jam in favor of the standbys. Easy Break joins in the penalty box. Pack is moving fast from turn 2 to turn 3. Slipped out on the apex and calling the jam from the ground. That's 12 points in that jam for the standbys.
Creature jam for the standbys, up at the front of the pack, through, and your lead jammer was again Sonic Boom trailing behind. Boom now through the pack as well. Creature up the inside of the pack, gets 4 points and shuts it down.
Proudly Canadian, Cloverdale Paint delivers high-performance paints, coatings, and color systems.
Yeedy Bird up against Deviated Septum. Birdie's working the front of the pack. Septum at the back. Both stuck behind the respective opposition walls. Septum's out, goes to the back. Well, Birdie is through the front and takes the lead. Birdie tries to sneak into the back of the pack. It's seen at the last minute. Through the pack once more for the scoring pass.
That's Roller Square out of the pack with a star in hand.
Roller Squares now your jammer for Greater Vancouver. However, Birdie calls it off.
Official timeout. All right, the hardcores are looking for 5 more players to join their Roll a Skater bocce ball. Tickets are $10. The game will go off at 2 p.m. Well, probably not, since we're in a little bit of an official timeout right now. But when we get to the end of this game, then we'll have some time. You've got a few more minutes to buy yourself a ticket into the game. 5 more players looking for. You will see UV waving the big sign, walking around. They are supported by Poison Dart Frog with the pink hair. See them for tickets or visit the Hardcores booth.
And we're back. Sitting at a 100-point spread right now, 138 for the standbys and 38 for Greater Vancouver. On the track, it's Liz as your lead jammer for the standbys. Meanwhile, Stalker at the back. Stalker's working the outside, hot in the heels of Liz. Stalker is through, puts the jammer panty back on. And Liz calls off the jam. Stalker just did her own star pass. That was awesome.
Thank you to the St. John ambulance attendants on site all weekend. Creature versus Big D Barb. Creature in forward position. Barb at the back of the pack. Slow tripod anchored by number 02, Wes. Creature out the front with a cut track penalty. Helmet cover in hand by Big D Barb. That means there will not be a lead for this jam. Jam will go the 2 minutes. Power jam right now for Cascades. They are isolating blocker number 14, Green Machine, at the back in order to establish pack. That forces Denver to have to spread out. Better opportunity for Big D Barb to get through. Barb makes it through at turn 3, carries 4 points. Out from the penalty box and through the pack. That's an initial pass completed to Creature. Big D Barb hopes to call it off, forgetting that they had the helmet cover in their hand earlier, so cannot be lead. Creature comes through with 4 points. Barb's fighting for it at the back, once again anchored by number 02, Wes Slammerson. Easy holding pack, looking to do some offense. Offense comes for both jammers at the same time in opposing directions. There's some space on the outside. Big D Barb through with 4.
Looks like we have
Birdie and Sonic Boom are jammers.
Birdie up against Sonic Boom. Sonic's up at the front of the pack. Birdie's being held back by the Greater Vancouver wall. And Sonic is through, not quite. Sonic did make it through and took lead. Slam track, took a penalty for that hit.
Greater Victoria Sport Tourism Commission, fueled by the support of over 50 business members and municipalities, is dedicated to enhancing the region's sporting event landscape. Their mission is to seamlessly blend sport hosting with tourism, marketing, and drawing major sporting events to the Greater Victoria area.
Oh. Deviated septum knockdown, whereas Smack takes lead. Deviated septum now through the pack. Meanwhile, Smack coming along the outside for their scoring pass. And Smack calls it, taking, is that all 4 points?
Visit Fated Hearts bookstore in our vendor village right now. Looks like Creature and Stalker are jamming this time. Creature sees an opening on the outside, takes lead for the standbys. Stalker in the pack with 2 to beat. Slam track with the assist, push to the inside. Stalker gets recycled back. Creature on a scoring pass. Team is in the apex.
Star pass for Greater Vancouver. It is now redacted. Jamming for Greater Vancouver. Sneaks up to the inside but gets stopped by the wall. And Creature calls off the jam. No points.
Laugh it up at the Heckler's Bar and Grill after party when the game ends tomorrow. Quick lead for Big D Barb, number 5-7 with Cascades. In the pack, helmet cover in hand, that's Birdie. All 4 points gathered at the end of that jam by Big D Barb. That brings Cascades score to 54 against standbys 156.
The Sonic Boom is through. Your lead jammer for Greater Vancouver. Meanwhile, L stuck up in the Vancouver wall. Sonic comes in through their scoring pass while L breaks free. Boom passes through the pack and calls it off before L can make the scoring pass. Greater Vancouver now creeping ahead, 4 points at a time. The point spread still.
We've been hovering this second half. We've been hovering around 100 point spread, a little over, a little under, but we're staying pretty consistent. Cascades have held the standbys to no points for the last 2 jams.
Creature on the outside stays inside the boundaries of the track, comes through as your lead jammer for the standbys. Deviated septum hot on their heels. Creature coming through the back, breaks through the wall, calls off the jam.
Parkway Physio. Reduce pain, improve mobility, and get back to what you love with Parkway Physio. Yeedy Bird and Stalker are our jammers. Stalker out first, takes lead for Cascades. Yeedy Bird passes it on to number 315.
No.
That's Hysteria. That's the first star pass for the standbys in this second half. The slow, steady spread decrease for the Cascades as we go 3 jams in a row with the Cascades dominating. That is Big D Barb through the pack with lead.
Barb slams into the wall of the standbys. Recycled to the back of the pack, takes on the outside, swings outside, and is through, gets 4 points. Barb still your lead jammer, whereas Liz breaks through. Looks like that must have been their initial pass, whereas Barb calls off the jam before Liz can score any points.
In a world filled with mass-produced stuff, connect with what you consume with Driftwood Brewery. Visit their bar and patio nearby on Viewfield Road, or grab one of their beverages in our beverage garden today. One of my lovely league mates there holding up a couple of those Driftwood beverages.
Looks like it's Creature up against Sonic Boom once again. Boom recycled to the back of the pack. Creature is through for your lead jam. Sonic with the star pass. Over to Bo. Bo up at the front of the pack. She makes it through. Takes on Rollers the jammer, but Creature calls off the jam.
Thank you to Roller Girl for sponsoring Capital City Chaos Tournament MVP prize. You can vote for the tournament MVP using the QR codes posted throughout the arena.
We have Birdie jamming for the standbys. Birdie's up at the front of a very long pack. They're bridging really well, maintaining pack formation. No pack is called, and Birdie is through. Birdie's now your lead jammer for the standbys. Whereas the star pass to Easy Break Oven. Easy Break Oven is once again your jammer for Greater Vancouver. And Birdie calls off the jam. Valiant effort by Greater Vancouver. And it looks like we have a timeout. Meanwhile, while taking the break, try yourself some of those wonderful Empire donuts. A whole lot of love. All donuts are made by hand, from scratch, with quality ingredients. And their chicken is pretty good too. And while in Victoria, why not drop into Influence Board Shop for Victoria's best selection of skateboards and gear. You can visit them today.
Cascades official review is seeking a back block on the Denver Jammer. After conferring with the officials, legal contact was observed. No back block call will be issued.
And we have Stalker skating for Greater Vancouver. Gets right through the pack. Takes lead jammer. The smack overflows coming up. But jam gets called off. So we have a new jammer on the line with Redacted, who's had a few star passes up against Creature. Creature's been jamming up a storm all night, is through, and once again, your lead jammer. Meanwhile, a star pass to Easy Break Oven. Easy's skating up behind, but Creature's through, calls off the jam once again, and denies those points to Easy Break Oven.
Ellen Wheels and Sonic Boom are jammers. Ellen Wheels in forward position, pushes through at the pivot line. Lead goes to the standbys. Sonic Boom holding on to the helmet cover, hit to the inside. Ellen Wheels comes in for a scoring pass. Sonic Boom held behind a strong tripod. Pack is being held by 315. Offensive help comes in from Willow Whips. Sonic Boom finds that outside line. Helen Wheels approaching the back, already gathered up 4 points, looking for some more. Through on the outside of the straightaway. Jam called. Defensive jamming right at the jam line there. Cascades jammer pushing to the inside, but then outside was left open. That's Misery Lizness, number 5-5, through with lead for the standbys. Deviated septum hands that over to Easy Break. Easy Break through the pack. Liz calls the jam. 4 points for the standbys. Another couple in the air, that makes 7. Our current score, Cascades 74, standbys 182.
Have Creature up against Stalker. Both jammers stuck in the pack. Neither gets no quarter. Bo's holding the bridge between the two. And Stalker is through for lead jammer. Creature gets recycled to the back of the pack. Stalker's through on the outside. Meanwhile, Creature still not through on their initial pass, gets a penalty, sits it out in the box. Stalker now on a power jam for Greater Vancouver. And now it's Stalker with the penalty. Looks like it's a back block. Creature back out. Now it's a power jam for the standbys. Creature still working on their initial pass. Puts on the star, so now they can collect some points. Pack is moving forward at a rapid rate, but Creature is in it. Redacted tries to stop them. Stalker now joins in the fray. Pack has come to a stop, and the jam has been called. Now, we have Barb jamming. Barb jumps the apex, does a knee slide through the pack, and collects 4 points for Greater Vancouver. Multiplayer block on. Barb is working the outside of the track once again, is through. He calls off the jam. And that is it, folks. Unofficially, the score is 184 for the standbys and 93 for Greater Vancouver. And before you go out and paint the town tonight, remember you can paint your home with proudly Canadian Cloverdale Paint. It delivers high-performance paints, coatings, and color systems. And at the end of the game on Sunday, laugh it up at Heckler's Bar and Grill, where the after party will continue.
The officials took the remote mic again. All right, skaters, I have your MVP prizes. This time, you're going to get them at the announcer's dais. I see some milling about. I'm wondering if you're going for a photo. There we go. Thank you. Like stats tracking. All right, MVP prizes. Cascades. Your MVP blocker, number 7-9, the Traumador. Up at the announcer dais, up here. I'm waving from the platform. Thank you. Cascades, your MVP jammer, 5-7, Big D Barb. Standbys, your MVP blocker, 4-1-2, keeper of the skate. Standbys, your MVP jammer, 8-4-7-L on wheels. Game 3 will be at a different time than what I'm looking at on my schedule, 3:30, so you've got about an hour. In this intermission, we will have the Skater Bocce, hosted by the Hardcores. Just push the button towards the top, and when the red light comes